The trade deadline is nearly upon us, and the Red Wings are linked, everybody. Hello everybody, welcome back to the What's on Mex channel. I'm your host as always, the Mex Canadian, and this is going to be my official trade deadline video. And by that, I mean this is going to be the video where I talk about who the Red Wings should go out and grab and or who they're linked to. And now, put into context, the Red Wings are linked to everybody at this point. There's reports saying that they've been linked to Jordan Kyrou, Jordan Binnington for some reason, and like 75 other different players in the league this season. And I take most of those with a grain of salt. It just seems like insiders and media outlets and reporters are throwing Detroit's name in the mix for players that they might somewhat potentially kind of be in on just to drive up clicks. This player's attracting all this attention from all these teams, and it's just a way for media outlets to drive clicks, and also teams and whatnot putting that information out to try and put pressure on these teams to trade these guys for their deal, stuff like that. So it's just one big circus regardless, but this is the group of people that I think Detroit should legitimately be trying to get. I don't expect them to get all these people, obviously. That's pretty unrealistic, even with all of the assets Detroit has. Making all of these moves in one season is basically unheard of. This would be more akin to a free agency thing. That this would be the equivalent of what Nashville did in free agency a few years ago when they got Stamkos, Marchessault, and Shea all at the same exact time because they threw shitloads of money at them and it's not working out very well. But regardless, let's get right into it with the biggest fish, Elias Pettersson. I say big fish in terms of cap hit because a lot of people don't want Elias Pettersson on their team. And, it's reasonable that they wouldn't. He's got an $11.6 million cap hit, and he's still got 5 years of that. So it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow when you look at it in its totality. But it also doesn't get much better when you look at his stat line the last few seasons where he hasn't even hit 50 points. And that makes it a very tough pill to swallow. But you've also got to look at where he's at. Vancouver's where talent goes to die. That's the team that ran Quinn Hughes out of there. And by ran, I mean Quinn Hughes said he wanted to leave. Right? It's not a good environment up there. And whether that's due to ownership, management, whatever, just straight up locker room issues, I don't know. But anyone who goes to Vancouver, pretty much all of them seem to just want to leave. And it's kind of insane to watch because they're having the opposite problems of what the Rangers have right now, where the Rangers are basically forcing people out. Vancouver's just got people who want to get out. So, obviously Elias Pettersson had that 100-point season a few years ago. That's how he got his contract. And then the season after that, he followed up pretty decently with an 89-point season. And, the contract was like, all right, it might be a little expensive, but if he can hit that close to that 100-point mark, this is roughly where, this isn't any higher, this isn't not any higher, but this isn't much higher than what the likes of Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond, and Alex DeBrincat would be going for right now, realistically, with the elevated cap that we have. Lucas Raymond should be making around $10.5 million. Larkin will be making around $10.5 million. Raymond probably should be making closer to $11 million. DeBrincat, probably $10 million. That's just how with this cap world is working. The cap goes up, these guys are technically worth more. And so if you think Elias Pettersson can go back to that 80-90 point guy, $11.6 million is perfectly fine for him. But if you think he is what he is, and that's just a half point per game guy, then I don't think you go for him, but also that contract is fucking awful. It is insanely bad. And I'm talking Jonathan Huberdeau bad in Calgary. That's $10.5 million for a guy who's only hitting up half a point per game every season now. And now, granted, two different situations, but I think that Elias Pettersson is that 80-90 point guy. I do. I think it's a Vancouver thing. And Vancouver, like I said, Vancouver is where talent goes to die and where talent goes to want to leave. So I think that they should take Elias Pettersson, the Wings, but it's also dependent on how you get that money to work, because they've got plenty of cap space. They could take on this full cap hit and not even think about it, right? But they'd still have like 6, 7, 8 million left in the tank, probably more. But like I said, depends on how you view him. If you view him as that 80-90 point guy and it's just a Vancouver thing, or if you think that he is what he is and that's a half point per game, maybe 60 point guy. But if you think either way, you want to try and get them to retain. Now, Vancouver did come out and say that they are not going to retain on it, yet they still want a first round pick, a top line prospect, and another prospect on top of that, and that's their starting point. And that's, I don't think that I hope they don't legitimately think they can get that for a guy who's making $11.6 billion but only has 35 points this season in 51 games. Like, that's just insane. Now it's classic, negotiation 101. High ball, negotiate down. That's just classic negotiation tactics, and I don't believe that's what they're actually going to get. I hope they don't believe that's what they're going to get, because that could make up for a rough time. Now, you could do something, move money in to get money out, right? Like, you could bring in the entire Pettersson contract, but then move out a JT Compher contract, right? There's ways to get around it so that way every side is happy, but it really just, with Elias Pettersson, depends on how you view him and where you think his game will be with, actual decent line mates who can help him out. So yeah, I think they should go after Elias Pettersson, but depending on that price and how the team gets him, it could go either way. Next up, we have Vincent Trocheck from the New York Rangers, and this is a guy who has been in rumors for about a year or two now. It's been pretty hard in the rumors this year because of the state that the Rangers are in. They put out that letter saying that they're going into a retool. It's insane that they've done this twice in less than 10 years now, but Vincent Trocheck is a name that's been floating around for a while now. The Red Wings were in on him a few years ago before he decided to stay in New York. And I think that he'd be a perfect fit for the Red Wings too. He's the exact type of player Eisman looks for. He's not, the biggest guy. He's 5'11", but he's a very good two-way 2C to put behind Larkin. And he puts up 60, 70 points a season. Right now, he's at 38 points in 45 games. And you could probably attribute that to the fact that the Rangers fucking suck. But in recent years, he's a pretty consistent 60, 70 point guy, right? And that's someone you need in your top six. Because right now, you're running Andrew Kopp, who's not even a half point per game, as your 2C. And, Marco Kasper as well, who's having a very rough season. But, Trocheck will definitely help your center depth, right? If you have Larkin, Trocheck, and then Kopp, Compher, that's an insanely good center depth, and one that can get you pretty far, but you need that 2C who can put the puck in the net as well, and Trocheck does that. He's never hit a 30 goal. He's had one 30 goal season in his life. That was with the Florida Panthers. But he's pretty consistently a 20-25 plus goal scorer, and that's someone that the Red Wings need. They need another guy who can score 20-something goals a season, and, we've got rookies who I think can do it, like Kasper, I believe, is a guy who can do that. He's just having an insanely rough sophomore year for whatever reason. But yet, Trocheck, I don't have much to say on him because he is a solid 2C. He is a guy that I believe the Red Wings are in on pretty heavily, should be in on pretty heavily, and should do whatever they can to grab. Whether you would have him over Elias Pettersson, I don't know. You got to kind of weigh the upside there. Trocheck's obviously older at 32 years old, and he's got a $5.625 million cap hit for another 2 years after this one. So it's going to be, you got to kind of weigh your options there, because Pettersson obviously younger, 27 years old, but the cap hit is much higher. And if you're trying to bring one of these guys in to be your 2C, well, then you've got to weigh what you want. They're both two-way forwards. They're both really good on the penalty kill. It's just a matter if you think Elias Pettersson's upside is better than what Vincent Trocheck will bring you, right? So that's Vincent Trocheck. I don't have much to say on him, really. But the one guy that everybody seems to want the Red Wings to be in on 100% is Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas, I would love for the Red Wings to get him, mind you. And I think he is probably the best option of the three that I've presented so far. He's got an $8.1 million cap hit. He's 26 years old. He is in the perfect range that Eisman's looking for. He said that he's looking for guys in the 25, 26 to 32 years old range, right in the prime of their careers. And Robert Thomas fits that to a T, right? He's currently their first-line center, I believe. And he's having a down year, mind you. He's having a pretty down year because St. Louis is also insanely awful. But he's got 12 goals, 23 assists for 35 points in 43 games. He's been injured for a little bit, or he took a leave of absence for a little bit, I believe. But in recent seasons, last season he had 81 points, before that 86, before that 65, before that 70. He's a really consistent point per game roughly guy. And if you can add him to your second line center behind Larkin, 21 goals, 26, 20, he puts the puck in the net pretty decently, but he can also dish it out. So I think Robert Thomas would be the perfect guy for the Red Wings to bring in, and a lot of people do too. Everybody believes that Robert Thomas should be the Red Wings' number one trade target out of everybody that's on the board right now. There's also some talk about Jordan Kyrou and Justin Falk, stuff like that. I think if the Red Wings are going to go for anybody on the Blues, then it probably should be somebody like Kyrou or Thomas. I don't think it'll be Kyrou because I think the St. Louis Blues like that player too much. Fans, for whatever reason, don't seem to like him. Kind of. From what I see, I might be thinking of someone else. I might be thinking of Falk that fans don't really like. But I'm not going to pretend to follow the Blues. I could be talking out of my ass here. But I think that if you're going to go after anybody on the Blues, it should be either Thomas or Kyrou. Kyrou would be fantastic. He would be that perfect one top-line winger that the Red Wings have desperately needed. But you also need that second-line center to help, the likes of Nate Danielson or whatever. Although I don't think if you're getting Robert Thomas, Nate Danielson's surviving that deal. But regardless, you're going to want that 2C filled sooner rather than later. Because I think the potential of Marco Kasper being that 2C is still very much there. But I think he's being groomed to be the top-line left winger for Larkin and Raymond. Unless they bring somebody in who can play that top-line left wing. And I don't know. I think if you're going to target, like I said, if you're going to target someone, it should be one of those two guys. And while Kyrou's probably the most unlikely, I think Thomas is very much likely and possible. He will bring in what you need. He's pretty solid in the face-off circle, if I remember correctly. And, I think he would be probably the perfect. I think I've said that about Trocheck, but I think Thomas is the perfect of perfect 2C for this Red Wings team. He fits the mold perfectly. High floor, high ceiling. Yeah, I think that he's the perfect type for this Red Wings team. And that's gonna bring us into the defensemen. I have two defensemen that I want to talk about. One that is very suspect, and the other who I think the Red Wings should probably really be in on. We'll go with the suspect one, which is Tyler Myers, the Chaos Draft. We all love Tyler Myers. He can't play hockey, but we love Tyler Myers. No, Tyler Myers, he is rumored pretty heavily. It was rumored that the Red Wings had an offer on the table for Tyler Myers. He's got a full no-move clause, which how Tyler Myers gets a full no-move clause is beyond me, even if it is from Vancouver. It's insane that he managed to get that. But he's called the Chaos Draft for a reason, right? Like, he's 6'8". He's a big fucking dude. But he's all, Elmer will have another towering friend. But he also is not very stable. Like, he's not a steady guy whatsoever. He can burn you, or he can really help you in very different directions. There's no in between with Tyler Myers, right? Like, I listened to the Wingwheel podcast the other night, and last night actually, and they said it perfectly. Axel Sandin Pellikka, he's struggling right now, but his screw-ups are completely different from Tyler Myers' screw-ups, right? So, if you're going to be bad, you may as well be fun to watch, and that's the definition of Tyler Myers. That describes him to a T. And now, I don't think Tyler Myers is nearly as bad as people make him out to be. Mind you, I'm just kind of fucking around. But the rumor was that the Red Wings had a second-round pick on the board for him, and, I've defended Eisman a lot, I'm still a massive believer in the Yzer plan, but if he's been known to not be a very good evaluator on the back end, right? Like, as far as trades and free agents go, I mean, he gave Ben Sherrod a $4.4 million deal or something like that out of free agency. Travis Hamonic, right, doesn't even deserve a contract. Like, I mean, I love the dude. He seems like such a fun guy, but oh my God, is he bad? He's not made the best decisions on defense, free agency, and trade-wise. But I believe that Tyler Myers, if you're bringing him in to be your 5, 6, 7 D man, he's an upgrade on Travis Hamonic, right? And he's probably a microscopic upgrade on Jacob Bernard-Docker. And he's a guy that if you put in, he's probably not going to cost you games like Hamonic has, right? Hamonic has cost this team legitimate points in the standings when he was playing. And I don't think Tyler Myers will do that, at least not nearly as much as Travis Hamonic does. So I'm kind of 50-50 on Tyler Myers, but I don't think he should be a second-round pick. Like, if you're throwing a 4th-round pick at him, at Vancouver to get him, fine, perfectly fine. But anything other than that, I'm not really doing anything about it, right? Like, I'm not about to throw in that type of pick for a guy who is going to be a bottom pairing guy. I'm not doing that. That'd just be horrible asset management at that point. And I would probably start to lean more towards that. I would start to kind of sort of entertain that Steve Yzerman is a draft merchant, right? I would start to entertain that argument. I've been adamant about it before because Yzerman hasn't had the need to make very many trades, and he's got some good ones in there, right? John Gibson he managed to get John Gibson for Peter Mrazek, a 2nd round and a mid-round pick, and then Alex DeBrincat. Granted, DeBrincat kind of forced his way here, but still he managed to get DeBrincat for a 1st-round pick, a 1st-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and then Dominic Kubalik and Donovan Sebrango. By the way, none of those assets Ottawa has right now. Ottawa doesn't have any of those assets anymore. The pick we sent to them was Boston's that we got in the Bertuzzi trade. We sent that pick to them for DeBrincat, and then they sent that pick to Boston, back to Boston. Boston got the 1st-round pick back for Linus Ullmark, and then the 4th-round pick they became some guy whose name I can't remember, but he's not making the NHL anytime soon. Dominic Kubalik played his last season of that contract for him, didn't score a single point in about 30 games, then now plays in the Czech League. He was in the Olympics this year too, surprisingly enough. You probably didn't notice him because he didn't really do anything, but he was there. And then Donovan Sebrango, he played a few games for Ottawa, got claimed on waivers by the Panthers, and he's still with the Panthers to this day, I believe. I believe he's their 7th D-man. So, yeah, that didn't work out for Ottawa in the slightest. And, Ullmark worked out pretty well for them last season. Not so much this season, though. Not so much this season. But Ullmark's always been one of those 1 year on, 1 year off type goalies, right? There's him. There's Markstrom. There's a few of them around the league that do that. So, I'm not... that's not the point of this video. But Tyler Myers, I believe that he can be competent on the bottom pair and your 7th D-man. I mean, he brings an element that, teams want, teams like. Size, he hits, he's unpredictable, sometimes to the detriment, most of the time to the detriment of his own team, actually. But he's steadier than what I think Hamonic would be. You put it that way. I think he is steadier than what Hamonic would be, but I don't think he's steady enough to throw a 2nd-round pick. Like I said, if you throw a 4th-round pick at him, sure, why not? Go for it. But it's also important to note that he's got a young family. He's got a kid with cerebral palsy, so it's very possible he doesn't want to go very far. Or if he does, he wants to go with his family, and he's from Texas, I believe. And I think his mom lives down in Texas, so that's why Dallas was one of the rumored places to be interested in him. I don't know where the fit is there necessarily, but if you're Steve Yzerman, you go and you want to trade for Tyler Myers, and he says, I don't know, I've got this family with my kid who needs, consistent help. I don't really want to be away from my family for that long because he's still got one more year on his contract after this. It's a $3 million contract. And, if he isn't sure about being away from his family for that long, then if you're Steve Yzerman, you just back off, right? Because it's not that he doesn't want to be here. It's just that he doesn't want to be away from his family. So if that's the reason you're Steve Yzerman, you back off a bit. Don't put any pressure on him. If he and his family decide that this is the best for them to not be traded, then go for it. That's, you can't fault a guy for that. So, I'm a bit 50-50 on Tyler Myers, but it strongly depends on the asking price. If you're throwing a second round pick at Tyler Myers, that's just bad asset management because we don't have very many. I mean, we've got this year's second round pick, right? I think we still have this year's second round pick because I believe it's a 2027 second round pick we sent to Anaheim for the Gibson trade. So, but yeah, that's Tyler Myers, and the big one that I think the Red Wings should pursue is Dougie Hamilton. Now, things have kind of changed. Earlier in the season, we've seen that the Rangers were more than willing to move Dougie Hamilton. They even scratched him a game or two to try and put pressure on him to waive his no-move clause, because he does have a no-move clause. That's important to note, but they did try to put pressure on him, we believe, to try and waive that no-move clause, so that way they can trade him, because he's got a $9 million cap hit, which is a lot, mind you. It is quite a bit of money, but when he got that contract, he was worth it, right? He was he had 70 points when he got that contract, and he can still hit that, I believe he can. I don't know about 70 points realistically, but I think he can still be a 50-point defenseman, right? And New Jersey's been a dumpster fire this season, but like I said, Hamilton was having a rough season up until a few months ago. I think back in December is when he started really picking up speed, or was it January? It was late December, early January where he really started picking up speed, but I think that if you can get New Jersey to retain on some of it, Dougie Hamilton is the perfect person to put on the right side, so you can slot ASB down to the third pair, and he'll provide you what you need, right? He'll provide you the solid defense that you need, and I think that the Red Wings should really be in on trying to move him. Now, things have changed, obviously, with the Luke Hughes injury. Hamilton's had to play a bigger role in the lineup of New Jersey than he was before, which is just him moving from, I think, the second pair to the first pair. But I do believe that Hamilton is a guy that you should seriously be looking into getting. And if you take on the full $9 million cap hit, well, then the price will be pretty cheap. But Fitzgerald needs to make a move to help the New Jersey Devil teams better. And I think if you move out Dougie Hamilton, bring some assets in, draft some more guys, because I think the problem with New Jersey is they've got talent there, right? They've got Jack Hughes, they've got Timo Meier, they've got Nico Hischier, they've got Luke Hughes. They've got really good talent there, but it's all centered around one guy. It's all centered around Jack Hughes. And if he's not going, the entire team's not going in the slightest. So if you move out Dougie Hamilton, bring in some more assets, you move out Dougie Hamilton, bring in another center, or bring in a decent winger, or draft somebody with the assets you get. Fitzgerald needs to make some moves to save his fucking job, is what I'm saying. So I think Dougie Hamilton's great, and I'm talking like I am a scout. I'm not a scout, right? Like, I don't know the ups and ends of these teams, of these players, because I don't watch all of these players on a consistent basis. You want to talk to me about a Red Wings player, 100%, I got you covered. But a lot of these guys I don't watch on a daily basis, and even if I'm watching them, I'm not watching them, right? I'm watching their team. So I know this is a bit of a choppy way to talk about everybody, but just bear with me. But yeah, Dougie Hamilton, he's also 6'6". He's a big guy, and from what I've seen, he's not necessarily afraid to throw the body either. He's great. He's a good power play guy. You can throw him on your penalty kill. He's a pretty decent playoff performer too. He's about half a point per game in the playoffs. every time he's made it. So I think he is a guy that the Red Wings should legitimately be looking at, and they were looking at him for a while, I believe, when the Devils were looking to actively trade him. The Red Wings were one of the teams that were listed as a guy that they were going to be heavily in on. And then, like I said, things changed. Luke Hughes got injured. Dougie Hamilton had to take a higher role. But I think the Devils should be in sell mode. Not, sell the farm mode, mind you. Unless you want to send us Jack Hughes, that'd be fantastic. But if they're going to... because they're not going to make the playoffs this season. Their chances plummet every day, essentially. But I believe that they should be in seller's mode, right? They should be conservative sellers, as they would say in NHL 26. So, that's just my 2 cents on this. There are some other guys who I think the Red Wings should pretty much be in on as well. I do think they should be in on Falk. I think they should be in on Kyrou as well. Not Jordan Bennington, but there are guys out there that they should probably be in on. And the guys that I really think, these are just the guys that I think will really help this team a lot, except for Tyler Myers. He just kind of microscopically, marginally makes your team better. He just gives you a better 6-7 defenseman potential, right? And if you got to rest Axel Sandin Pellikka at some point, you can swap them out pretty decently. Because it's important to note Tyler Myers is playing a much bigger role on the Vancouver Canucks than he should be. So it's, take with that as you will. I think Dougie Hamilton is the best defenseman that you could probably realistically grab. There's Falk too, obviously. One of the Shens, I believe, is a defense. Both of the Shens might be a defenseman. I don't know. I don't follow the Shen brothers. But I think defenseman Shen, if they're not both defensemen, is in Winnipeg. I think you could probably go for him as well. But how much better does he make your defense too? So there's a lot of potential targets out there that I think the Red Wings should go after, or at least look into. But these are just the guys that I think the Red Wings should be 100% in on, minus Tyler Myers. But that's going to be it. Sorry for the choppiness of this video. I actually had this video recorded once, but then I had an insane amount of issues, right? Like my computer just was throwing a fit while I was recording it. I went back to try and, I still recorded it, but when I went back to listen, the audio was kind of screwed up. I tried to fix it and it just wouldn't work. So I had to redo it, which is why this video kind of sounds so choppy, because I've been over this subject once before, and so I'm just kind of trying to throw the bulletin points at you. I'm also trying to give you some informed decision making, right? Like I'm trying to give you some rationale on why these guys should be considered or heavily pushed on for the Red Wings to grab. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you made it through this entire video, like I said, I know it was pretty choppy and kind of all over the place, but that's just how it has to be right now because of my current recording situation. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments who you guys think the Red Wings should go after, and what you think of my choices for the Red Wings to go after. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.